We're fighting cancer with our fork and our whole kitchen. I'm Zonya Foco, registered dietitian, nutritionist, and wow, am I passionate about this subject. I mean, yes, I love teaching about dodging diabetes, conquering cholesterol, defeating depression, being able to look at all these things, lowering your blood pressure. And now we're taking on cancer. Advanced stuff that we're going to learn together. And I'm so excited that you've said yes to this investment of your time. So let me show you what we're going to cover in this session. Number one, we are going to talk about, does sugar feed cancer? We're going to answer this question. Can we help reduce our chances of getting cancer by eating less sugar? If so, how much? We're going to talk about our toxins in my kitchen. Do you have toxins in your kitchen? That's right, we're going to cover that in this session, and also our supplements. Are there supplements that could help? Let's get started, shall we, with the number one thing I want to talk about out of our three. Number one, does sugar feed cancer? Many say no, only in that the empty calories promote weight gain, and then, of course, being overweight and obese increases your cancer risk. That's it. But it appears, yes, sugar does directly promote cancer. A major review of studies showed excess sugar consumption led to both development and progression of cancer, independent of the association between sugar and obesity. How? By activating inflammation and suppressing our immune system. What have we been talking about in this session? We've been talking about foods that help improve our microbiome and help us improve our immunity, and this suppresses our immune system and it activates inflammation. We've been talking about foods that decrease inflammation, and sugar itself can increase inflammation. Wow. So we do know that there's truth to that sugar feeds cancer. Well, it promotes cancer. So what are we going to do about this? First of all, it's important for you to know that it's added sugars are what the problem. Added sugars to the American diet. We're not talking about the naturally occurring sugars that's in apples and pears and bananas and oranges and watermelon and fruit. I will tell you, fruit, those are antioxidant rich. It's also very dilute in the water of the fruit. So you have not too much sugar, you have fiber going with it, which is very beneficial, and all the antioxidants. You have so much good coming from that. You really can't overeat whole pieces of fruit. Fruit are fantastic. We need 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, so you aren't going to eat too much fruit. Fruit is not the cause of cancer, but added sugars, yes. Added sugars are the problem. And I'm so excited to tell you that labels help you find added sugar. Yep, you take a look right on there on the label and it shows you exactly where you'll see the sugars. Include 7 grams of added sugars right there highlighted in yellow. You will see this. I love this part because if it has raisins in it, and maybe the raisins are the only thing that's contributing sugar, and that would be allocated in the total sugars. But they include 7 grams of added sugars are going to be the things that are truly added sugars. And there's a lot of different things that constitute added sugars. 0 added sugar. So is that what our goal is? Well, not necessarily. It needs to be low, but it doesn't need to be no. Ladies can safely have, this is so exciting, 6 teaspoons, 24 grams of added sugar a day. Our body can process that. And so, especially if it's not all at one time, we can enjoy a little bit of sweets here and there. That's good news. That's really good news. And men, it's not fair, but they get more. They can safely have 9 teaspoons. That's 36 grams of added sugars a day. And on labels, it'll say grams, but if you want to convert it by 4, because every 4 grams equals a teaspoon. And yet Americans on average, some much higher, some lower, but on average, they consume 22 teaspoons. That's 88 grams of sugar a day. That's what the average is. So that's 13 to 16 teaspoons, or a third cup of too much sugar every single day. That's above the amount that we can safely have. That's a third cup too much every single day. Wow. That adds up to 10 cups of added sugar every month. It doesn't have to be this way. Just because we live in a culture that sugar comes in a lot of places, it doesn't have to be this way. First thing we need to know is where it comes in at. And it comes in a lot of places. But what do you see the most of? The blue, the light blue, right? 47% in our beverages. Yeah. If we don't watch ourselves, we don't like sweet tea. We don't like tea, we like sweet tea, right? If we don't watch it. And if that's the culture we grew up with. But we can learn to take our sweet tea into unsweet tea. But what about other beverages that we might add sugar to, or they add sugar to and we don't notice? Right up front, what do I stock my refrigerator for guests who come? Of course, we drink water most up, and tea is nice, unsweet, of course. That Spindrift is a favorite. Love all those. Just a tiny few calories in each one, naturally occurring from some juice with the sparkling water. LaCroix. What about bubbly or bubbly? And Zevia is a stevia sweetened soda. If you really want to have a root beer, you want to have a soda, then I would suggest those for an occasional indulgence. And Olipop and Poppy are other really nutritionists. They've got fiber, they've got probiotics in them. You might enjoy those. And then just bottled water, of course. Those are some great choices. I want to encourage you right now to really take stock of where sugars come in for you in your beverages. Where do they come in, and how can you choose differently? Can you learn to like some of these? And off with the soda and diet soda too. Out of here. Yep, we know why, because of this. Artificial sweeteners to avoid: aspartame, saccharin, sucralose, yep, that's Splenda, and a sulfame K. You may not think you buy and use a sulfame K, but it's in so many diet drinks, it's in so many diet products, it is in a lot of things. So all four are linked to cancer and glucose intolerance, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's. But how? How does it do this? They alter the microbes in the gut and reduce immunity. And the good news is that if you're sitting there going, I drink diet soda, within 2 weeks of getting off a diet soda, within 2 weeks of removing these artificial sweeteners from your diet, within 2 weeks, they see the microbiome come back. What are the preferred sweeteners? We love to use dates. Raisins are great to sweeten things. Applesauce is great. Bananas, so many great. I mean, all of the fruits, other dried fruits that contribute no added sugars. Now, added sugar, these do constitute added sugar. This does count in the 24 grams for women, 36 grams a day for men. And then sugar replacers that if you're trying to dodge, you want to get a little bit more sweetness, you want to dodge sugar a little bit, sugar replacers like stevia, I think are still at this point pretty safe to use. And allulose is another, as we believe, safe sweetener that you could use for baking. Monk fruit is another one, although the CSPI rates it as caution due to lack of testing. And beware, it's often monk fruit and erythritol often are put together. And it'll talk about monk fruit in big print with erythritol. And erythritol has, within the last 2 years, been found to be linked to blood clots and heart problems. So that's erythritol. You used to hear me recommend erythritol as an option. So that would be on that good list. Not anymore. That's changed. I hope that helps you know what to stock in your kitchen so that you can help navigate this. We want to love on our family and make some great things without feeding cancer. Blackstrap molasses made by triple boiling sugarcane juice. So other molasses is only boiled once or twice, and 3 times boiled is what's called blackstrap. Blackstrap is also called unsulfured. You want it to be unsulfured. And this is going to have a lot of nutrition. It's got iron and calcium and magnesium and antioxidants. I mean, you're actually getting something good for it. Yay. But coconut sugar, it does have a lower glycemic index, 35 instead of 65. It's made from coconut palm sap. It contains iron and zinc and potassium and polyphenols and flavonoids and fiber. These are all good things. And it replaces sugar 1-to-1 in recipes. Next up, I want to show you, before we start making this, I want to talk about these almond molasses cookies that we're going to learn to make. Instead of the 2 cups of brown sugar and just a little bit of molasses and flour, white refined flour, and 2 sticks of butter, that would go in a normal molasses cookie. We are going to be making these healthier. And let me just show you. We always give you the nutrition information for all of our recipes at Eat Real America. And fairly recently, we have added sugars. Instead of just total sugars is the computer analysis and it gives us total sugars, but that's not that helpful. What's helpful is, okay, there's some sugar from fruit, but there's what's the added sugars. So we now give you that. And for each cookie, check this out, 4 grams of sugar is 1 teaspoon of sugar. In one cookie, there's less than a teaspoon of sugar, and it's coconut sugar, which is a lower glycemic index. So now, Scotty, I am ready to show you how to make these awesome cookies. This uses almond flour, 2 cups, I believe, of this yummy almond flour that I got at Aldi. Oh, we got 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar. And then we have that half a teaspoon of baking soda that went in there. And then we have our teaspoon and 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice and ginger. And I flaked that up with a fork, got that mixed up. And then I start adding in the liquid ingredients. So we are adding in the almond butter, half a cup, 1/4 cup of molasses, and the 1/4 cup of applesauce, and a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So now we have our liquids that are going in there. And then we mix that right up like so. And then this is a fairly wet dough, but it'll be easy to work with, it won't be hard. And you can just kind of give that a little roll. You don't even really have to. You can just drop it into the sugar and we give that a little roll around, and you were using that coconut sugar again. This is going to make 18 cookies, as you can see. And then we're baking this at 350 degrees, and we're gonna give this 10 minutes. Okay, 9. 9, and we'll give it another minute. I think it definitely needed 10 minutes for sure. This is how we bake those off. And as you look at these, they are nice and dry on the outside. You're gonna let them cool on the paper before you remove them to the rack. Let them cool a little bit and set up a little bit, and then you'll see that they are so moist on the inside, but they are nice and dry and crisp on the outside. So that's homework assignment number 1. You like it? You like it? Okay, but homework assignment number 1 continues on. Check this out. Another very similar cookie is the simple peanut butter cookies that use almond flour just like that, but use peanut butter and maple syrup. Simple recipe, mix it together and crisscross, and you got these great cookies. But then what about chocolate chip cookies? We got Smarty Pants cookies for you. I'm excited for you to try these, and I actually think they might become your new go-to chocolate chip cookie. What about birthday cakes? Check out, we've got these great pumpkin sheet cake. That's my son and I's favorite. Our birthday's a week apart. We share a pumpkin sheet cake. And then the chocolate fudge layer cake is also great. It has 0 added sugars in that whole entire cake and uses dates to sweeten it. And cashew cream frosting is amazing. My question to you is, could you consider taking any of your traditional recipes that might be the sticks of butter, the shortening, maybe the can of butter flavored shortening. It's not the good kind of fat for our body at all. At first you might think, this cookie is not as sweet as my usual cookie. But you know what? Pretty soon, in a year's time, you'll go back and you'll make your traditional cookie. And you'll go, this is way too sweet. I don't even like it. Change your relationship with sweet treats for a lifetime. All right, are you ready for number 2? I got 3 things we're going through today. So 2, my question is, are you toxin tough? Are you? Or are toxins tough on you? There's toxins maybe that we don't know that we're getting, and then there's toxins that we're getting that we choose. We choose some toxins? Yeah, sometimes we choose some toxins. And they're carcinogenic. And they're neurotoxins for our brain, for those of you concerned about dementia. Let's talk about these. According to research from the University of Newcastle in Australia, an average person could be ingesting 5 grams of plastic weekly. Well, what does 5 grams of plastic weekly look like? It looks like a credit card. You're selling me that we could be eating a credit card worth of plastic every week. That's what I'm telling you. Check this out. We are learning more and more about this world of synthetic chemicals that we live in. And yes, plastic is very convenient. Don't we love a good bottled water? The styrofoam containers for our to-go food. And the plastic tub that they put, isn't that neat that they can make plastic that withstands heat like that for our chicken and the grease and all of that? Does the plastic doesn't get into our chicken, does it? And the pizza box, they got to not have the grease go all the way through, so they have to put chemicals on that cardboard to make that work. Does that transfer into our pizza crust? And pans, and even the receipt. I've been teaching you to read the ingredients and to check your ingredients, to wash your food, look for organics, and now even the receipt that we get, the receipt is kind of powdery. And the way that scratch on it, the way it prints, the way that heat thermal receipts have BPA. Now they're changing it to BPS, which they say is not necessarily healthier, but they can say it's BPA free. So we're not always healthier. Step one is if you don't need that receipt, skip it. Don't touch the receipt. Get it electronically. That's step number one. But back to this. We can get these synthetic chemicals, can come through our skin by touching them through that cash register receipt. They come through our water, and they come through the soil, and they come through our food. They're called PFAS. You've probably been hearing about them. That's perfluoroalkyl substances. And bisphenol A for BPAs and phthalates. Oh my! Yeah, oh my. They disrupt our hormone system by introducing foreign estrogen into our body called xenoestrogens. If you were thinking plastic would just go through your system and wouldn't do anything, that's what I was hoping. You just poop it out, not a big deal. No, it's messing with us. And it is causing disease. So when we say we have no idea where cancer comes from, well, we're getting some ideas about where it comes from. It can permanently bind to estrogen receptor sites, cause DNA damage, posing serious health risks, including cancer, diabetes, reproductive disorders. We're seeing lower sperm counts among men. We're seeing lesser chances of getting pregnant, and neurological impairments, particularly in fetuses and children, since they're so small. This is a big deal. And possibly neurological impairments may be playing a role in dementia and Alzheimer's that we're just don't know where it's coming from. Let's start with water bottles, because this is a very, very big deal. Water bottles, recent research has uncovered a shocking reality that a single bottle of water contains some 240,000 microscopic plastic particles. This is something like 10 to 100 times more than previously determined, which is kind of like they knew it. They've known this for a long time, but it's getting worse and worse and worse. We have a lot of plastic that's in there. And the way it gets into our water is that when they produce water, they take about a thumb's worth of plastic and they blow it into a water bottle, and then they fill it with water. And then they blow a thumb's worth of plastic into a water bottle and they fill it with water. So this plastic water bottle hasn't aerated or been washed or anything. And so the surface is very fresh. And when the water goes in there, plastic it gets. And if you store your water bottle in your car and it gets warm and cold and warm and cold, or in the sun, more decay of the plastic happens. But however they look at it, there's a lot of plastic that's in here. And you think, well, they're microscopic. They're just microscopic plastic particles. You can't even see them. How can they be hard for you? How can they be bad? Well, these particles can infiltrate our bloodstream, cells, and even cross the placenta. It's time to rethink our reliance on bottled water. Yeah. So some better and best solutions. Glass trumps a lot of things. The box of water is better. Liquid death? It's water or sparkling water in a can, and it's murdering your thirst with the death to plastic. No more death to plastic because cans are more recyclable and plastic is not. Teenagers are particularly loving this product because A, they feel pretty cool. They feel like they're drinking an energy drink and they feel like they're doing something good for the planet. And they are by not drinking water from a boring water bottle. But what's even better? Even better is your own doggone can. And then learning how to seek out and find that filtered water station to refill. It's a new lifestyle. And for me to always carry a water bottle and to always look and refill, that's my new lifestyle. And I hope it is for you too. And if not, that you're growing to that because that's where we need to go for a cleaner earth and a cleaner body. I also want to mention this, that you should probably have your water tested and then use a filter. You may want to use a filter. PFAS are showing up everywhere. They are getting into our water systems, and also fertilizers and herbicides and all that stuff is getting into our water. Here's some testing of some from the EWG's Guide to PFAS, getting PFAS out of our water, and links to purchase. So you can check these out. I don't get anything from these, but I think EWG might if you use their links. But I wanted to give you some ideas of what they were recommending, and I trust what they are recommending. How about more plastic in the kitchen? Oh boy, more? Yeah, more. Time to get some more mason jars because they really are truly convenient and a great way. I also love to just reuse jars that we get. I'm like, oh, this is a cool jar. Soak off the label and keep jars around to use. So Pyrex, I love to use a lot of Pyrex. And if keeping some plastic, yes, look for BPA free. It may indeed be better. I wouldn't say it's a full bill of trust, like you can cook with it and heat with it. No, I wouldn't do that, but BPA free. Do not keep recycle code 3, 6, and 7, those you want to get rid of. Don't use plastics for hot food or reheating. Even when the back of the bottom says you can microwave in it. Still don't do it. What else? Don't put plastics in the dishwasher. Yeah, because the heat and the cascade or whatever dish, that's pretty toxic. Dish soap, it breaks down the plastic. You'll notice the plastic starts to feel rough and it's starting to lose and the plastic is starting to shed. Yeah, shed. And don't use cracked or chipped plastic. I was like, who uses that? I went through my cupboards and went, oh yeah, I guess I got a lot of cracked and scratched and chipped plastic, a lot. Oh, this has got to go. Trade that plastic cutting board because plastic particles cling to the board, the knives, and the food. And one plastic cutting board delivers 10 credit cards to a family per year. 10 credit cards. So what did I do? I went out and I bought myself some bamboo boards for all of my... Bamboo is a softer wood and I use it for all my produce. I got 3 different sizes, love it. But I'm going to use glass or stainless steel or titanium. I actually ordered this titanium. It's coming. I got the medium size just for meats. I don't do a lot of cutting and slicing of meat because we don't cook a lot of meat anymore. Titanium is a little bit softer on your knives than stainless steel, but either way, you got to sharpen your knife either way. So you just got to learn to sharpen your knife. But they really, truly are the best choice. Or glass. If you have a glass cutting board, that's a great option too. Do you have nonstick pans that you love? I confess to you, I've been through 4 sets of nonstick pans in my marriage, my 36 years of marriage. And they would end up, even though we used plastic or acrylic, patches and stuff, they still ended up flaking up and flaking. I guess we've eaten quite a bit of this by now and off to another set. And they would promise that this one was better and doesn't flake and wasn't Teflon and all these bad things that Teflon is. And they keep saying they're better and better and better, and they're not. They have over 10,000 PFAS. They're all actually toxic. They're just kind of trading them up. And I know Gordon Ramsay has new cookware that's nonstick. But I'm going to say you got to go with stainless steel. That's what I think. I think we can't trust these. I think they don't adequately test them. That's what I think. I had to learn to cook with stainless steel. And the first lesson was heat the pan first and then add the oil or the spritz of oil. Don't put the oil in a cold pan and then heat it up. It's just everything sticks from there on out. And this changed everything. I use stainless steel exclusively or cast iron. And do the same to prevent sticking in cast iron. Tips for cleaning: add a little water, get it hot, then scrape, and then use a stainless steel wire mesh scrubber. It's just clean as can be. And that colander right there, which is actually a steamer basket, but it can work as a colander. Let me ask you, you don't happen to have a plastic colander, do you? Get yourself stainless steel, or just use the strainer basket, the steamer basket for your strainer. That's a good way to get it done. But get rid of that plastic strainer. Yep, that's what I think. At least don't use it for anything hot. You're probably feeling like you want a detox, right? Well, I will tell you this, that the antioxidants and fiber in fruits and veggies help your liver detox and your microbiome fight back. Get your 10 servings a day. And also, the phytoestrogens in soy successfully compete with and protect cell receptors from the grips of those xenoestrogens. So what did we talk about last session? Soy foods, whole soy foods. We talked about tofu. I gave you 2 dynamite recipes for tofu, didn't I? 2. Well, guess what? I have one more amazingly favorite tofu recipe that I want to share with you. It's bacony tofu bites. So check out how we make these. We're going to use extra firm or firm. And the way we're going to get this out of here, now this water, we want to remove it from the water. And remember, you kind of squish it like this and you see lots of water running right out of it. And usually that's enough for all my other recipes. That's enough. But I'm going to press this even more because I want to really get it good and dry. And then I'm going to put a really flavorful marinade on it. So I'm using just these lint-free towels. And then I'm putting something heavy on top. Yep, it's just a nice little cast iron lid that I'm putting on it. And it's just going to give it a little weight, and it's going to let it press into the cloth that it's wrapped in. While it's doing that, I got a tablespoon of nutritional yeast and 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos and a tablespoon of olive oil and a tablespoon of maple syrup. And then we have our garlic powder. Yep, a teaspoon of that, teaspoon of smoked paprika. And then your choice, 1/4 to 1/8 to a quarter. I'm actually up to the quarter. It wasn't too spicy. So I used an 1/8 there, but you could use some more. So the weight of that was enough. And these towels are really wet. They're really wet. A lot of moisture came out. And so this is good and dry now, very dry. And I just did that for, just not even 5 or 10 minutes. And then we're going to just slice this up into some nice small cubes. And then turn the board that way and slice her the other way. And we are going to be dropping this into the marinade that we made. Just break up all these little cubes into there. And then you're just going to gently toss this. Don't worry if you break 1 or 2 here or there. And then now a tablespoon of cornstarch on this. And this is going to help just give it a, dry it a little bit, just to give it a nice crispy texture to the outside. And then on to our baking sheet that we use. And then I use 385, 400, my convection roast. I back it down to 385, but 400 is probably what most people would use. And then there you go. There they are. They're flavorful. They're kind of crisp. They make a great topping to a salad. So I'm just transferring them off to this bowl. And then it's like, voila, now I can put them onto salads. I can pop the rest in the refrigerator and have it for my next day. They are flavorful. Now, we talked about soy curls last time. And y'all said I want more soy curl recipes. Those were amazing. So I've got that exact same marinade. And I'm going to soak these soy curls in about a cup of water. I used a cup of water right here, but I think 3/4 cup of water will be perfect, and then you don't have to drain any off. But anywhere from 3/4 cup to a cup of water, and you just let that soak for 10 minutes. And then if you have a little too much water, here I did, but that 1/4 cup came out. If I would have just used 3/4 cup water, it would have been perfect. But then we're gonna bake these up. This is protein, you guys. These are pure little protein snacks. They're kind of like, everybody eats beef jerky, but that's not so great for you. It's got sodium nitrates for 1, and it's animal protein for 2, increasing our TMAO. And we learned about that in our first session or second session. And these are wonderful, meaty. They're just great little appetizer snacks. They give you that nice protein and fiber all combined in one, and it's a whole soy food. So those miraculous soy curls. In fact, let's go to our next slide and take a look at these other great ideas for soy curls. You guys were so crazy about that Mongolian soy stir fry that we made. You've been making it, and you're all like, this is fantastic. These soy curls are amazing. Everybody thinks it's chicken. Well, you want more recipes? Here you go. It's an easy swap out. Just rehydrate them and just sub them right in for wherever it calls for chicken. These will turn out great for you. Just great. I got to continue on this toxins message because some toxins we don't know about, these plastics that we have to look for, but some we invite in. Some we just say yes to. And that's alcohol. But you're saying some is okay, right? Some of you are about to go blah, 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 blah. Check this out. How much alcohol is safe? What is moderation? Well, it depends who you ask. In the United States, it has always been, for decades and decades, that allows 14 drinks per week for men and 7 drinks per week for women. But in Canada, as of 2023, because of the recent studies that we're seeing, and the implications of alcohol being a neurotoxin contributing to Alzheimer's disease, but also being a carcinogen and being a risk factor for cancer. As of Canada, they advise no one should have more than 2 drinks per week, men or women. Also states no alcohol is best. The American Cancer Society, it is best to not drink alcohol. The World Cancer Research Fund International, it is best not to drink alcohol. The American Institute for Cancer Research, most Americans still unaware that alcohol is a cause of cancer. The minute alcohol touches your tongue, it creates acetaldehyde, which damages DNA, classified as a group 1 carcinogen. It increases estrogen levels, and in women, 3 alcoholic drinks per week equals a 15% higher risk of breast cancer. And its carcinogenic contaminants, it also happens to have somehow the production of alcohol. There's nitrosamines, asbestos fibers, and hydrocarbons. Somehow in how alcohol is distilled, how alcohol is created, these are coming with it. Wow. And it contributes to weight gain. If you're trying to lose weight, alcohol is not your friend. And being overweight is a risk factor for cancer. Alcohol is a toxin. It's a neurotoxin, and it's a toxin. It's a carcinogen. Yep. So you're thinking, Zon, but red wine, come on, the French. I heard that study years ago that said that there's these wonderful resveratrol, and the resveratrol is beneficial. Oh, it's canceled out by the alcohol. It's better to get your resveratrol from grapes, blueberries, cranberries, peanuts, and pistachios. Studies show consuming 5 glasses or more per week can lead to a 22% higher estrogen levels in both men and women. Wow. And we thought it was soy that raises estrogen levels in men. But you're saying it's alcohol that raises estrogen levels in men, increasing cancer risk. You liked me until now, didn't you? Here's the drinking and the continuum of risk. So 0 drinks per week, that's pretty better sleep. A lot of people say, yeah, being off alcohol, I sleep so much better. And then 2 drinks per week, though, is likely to avoid negative consequence. 2 drinks per week. Could you get to 2 drinks per week? Could you? I bet you could. And 3 to 6, the risk of developing cancer, breast and colon increase at this level. And 7 drinks per week, significant increased risk of 7 kinds of cancer, heart disease, and stroke. So there you go. There is a cultural shift away from alcohol. There really is. I am so proud of so many friends of mine who do dry January, sober October, sober spring, dry July, and so many of those. And then the Sober Curious movement. Each generation, this is really cool, are drinking less than the previous with an increased focus on mental and physical health. Isn't that cool? And the non-alcohol market is set to surpass 30 billion by 2025. They want fewer calories. Yes, we want fewer calories, low sugar, holistic ingredients in their mocktails. And check this out. I want to share with you Jen and Len. These two have been doing the eat real, diet free lifestyle now for over 3 years. And together they've lost over 60 pounds. They are fitter than they were in their 20s. They're really active and they love their new lifestyle. They love how they feel. They love how they're sleeping, but they really realized that they love hanging out with their friends on the weekends. And they realized they were face to face with this habit of drinking on the weekends and waking up in the morning, not feeling so great, was not working great with the scale, the calories, how they felt. They didn't feel like exercising. It was a vicious cycle, and it was not really working for them like they thought. And they said, well, how can we still have fun? Can we still have fun? Do we have to have alcohol? What can they do instead? And they started looking for non-alcoholic options. And guess what? There are a lot of them. And they're available. You just have to look for them. I went to the store and I was looking and beer. I'm look. And over here was this non-alcoholic section. Let me just tell you this. I purchased that Heineken and the Corona, and I also purchased the Blue Moon Belgian White in the top there. And I picked those out, brought them home. Of course, I don't drink beer, but my husband does. I'm proud to say Scott has never overdone beer. I mean, he just doesn't. Like maybe he has 3 beers a week. But that's 3 beers a week instead of 2 beers a week, right? And 0 would be even better. And I came home, he came out to help me with groceries. And I said, hey, I bought something new. He goes, you did? And I go, yeah. I said, don't wrinkle up your nose. And he goes, what? And I go, I bought non-alcoholic beer. And he wrinkled up his nose. And I go, I just want you to try them. Tell me what you think. And so he did. You can tell the difference? I mean, it was like,
it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Less calories. So helps with the whole race of the waist, right? Trying to trim that, trying to not have a toxin to the brain, trying to defend ourselves of dementia, Alzheimer's disease, and cancer. Number 3, and that is supplement savvy. Which ones might help? Some more support your immunity. Which ones might? Low vitamin D. Let's start with that first. Those low blood levels of vitamin D are associated with at least 17 types of cancer. This is a big deal. Increased risk for heart disease, diabetes, depression, asthma, autoimmune disease, arthritis, osteoporosis, macular degeneration, multiple sclerosis, lowered immunity. We don't want lowered immunity. All these things. And you're like going, but that's only, Zonya, if you have low blood vitamin D levels. That's only. Not very many people have low vitamin D levels, do they? Oh, how about 77 to 97% of all Americans have a vitamin D insufficiency or deficiency? What do you mean? What should the vitamin D target level be? What do you mean this deficient and insufficient? Deficient is below 20. Insufficient is 21 to 29. Normal, they say, is 30 to 100. When I first had mine measured some 8 years ago, it was 31. And the doctor said, you're fine. I go, wait a second, doc. Normal is 30 to 100. I'm 31. I'm just 1 step from insufficient, and you're telling me I'm fine. I don't need to supplement. There's no concerns. He's like, yeah, you're fine. And I said, you're fired. Because no, I want a doctor that's more progressive. And I did change doctors. I'm being serious with you. Here's what we know. Colon cancer drops in half when the level is 34 or greater. I don't want to be at risk of colon cancer. Breast cancer drops 50% when the level is 52 or greater. I want to be 52 or greater, do you? 31 wasn't cutting it for me. Some oncologists recommend 60 to 70 for their patients. Note, some oncologists, not all, because this is new data. And what did we learn in the other sessions? Sometimes it takes 20 to 30 years before what's found out in scientific literature will come out into day-to-day doctor practice. You must supplement. You cannot eat enough foods high in vitamin D or get enough sun to reach these levels. You can't. I've been supplementing. I'm now at 55. And I'll tell you how I did it. Vitamin D, how to choose. You got to choose vitamin D3. Go for the rhyme, D3, not D2. It's just better absorbed. And if you're deficient, you'll need 5,000 or more. Now, I did 5,000, 7,000. That's what I did. 7,000 a day to get my levels up to 55. I would have never gotten there just with a normal, basic one a day. Wouldn't have gotten there. Takes those, you do what's called the vitamin D push. The vitamin D push. I wasn't necessarily deficient, but a lot of people are deficient. And you'll be tired. You'll have a lot of problems. You'll be at risk for diabetes, lots of things. So, but you may only need 1,000 to 2,000 to maintain a good level, right? So if you're just maintaining a good level or you want to get there. And I do suggest you get yourself measured. Your doctor, it should be part of your physical. And you should always get your vitamin D checked. And a progressive doctor will always do that. So that is vitamin D. You got that? So your homework assignment is everybody's got to take it. I don't care who you are. You really got to be taking at least 1,000, if not up to 5,000 is what you need to be taking. Yep. Can you get it in a one a day? Yes, I'm going to show you in just a second. All right, how about vitamin B12? Found only in animal foods and fortified foods. So we've been talking about plant-based, and anybody who's going to try to do this plant-based thing, because it does give you probably an edge to fighting cancer, you definitely need vitamin B12 supplement, no doubt about it. Within a year, you'll be deficient. You really do need vitamin B12. And it's recommended for vegetarians or anyone eating plant-based, bariatric patients, because they interfere with your absorption, with what they do to you. And then anyone over 50, well, that's a lot of us. So you got to do the vitamin B12, and you can get it in a one a day, or you can just take it. Either way you want to do it. They have liquids that get subliminals. Those are more absorbable. But I will tell you that I get mine all in one right here in this basic high quality. Now, you do not have to buy this. It just happens to be the one that I have researched and found and I like. I don't care what you buy, but I do encourage you to compare it to this. I think this is a pretty good standard, a high standard to follow. I like it because it's 2,000 IUs of vitamin D. I, again, take an additional 5,000 with that. I usually back off on that in the summer, but not necessarily because I really don't get out in the sun that much. And it's really got everything else. It's got your B12, and it's got a lot of B12, which is you really can't take too much. And magnesium to help, it just bridges the gaps. It helps bridge the gaps of all these things. It won't hurt you to have these things. It won't at all. Two things. Do you get it with iron or without? Well, if you're low in iron, then you need to get it with iron. I donate blood, and that makes my iron go down. So I get the one with iron because I want to get it back up, and then I donate, and then I get it back up. So I take the one with iron. But I buy the one for Scott without iron because he is not able to donate blood, and his iron isn't ever low. So you don't want to take it if you have normal iron, because iron's a peroxidant at high amounts. Alrighty, next up, so we're landing this plane, and it is time to put together what we've learned this session. Put your fork to work this week with Be Sweet Smart. Replace your go-to sweet treat recipes, starting with molasses cookies, plus so many more. Cakes, cookies, you got it, right? Homework assignment number 1. Number 2, be tough on toxins and limit your exposure. Invest in the stainless steel water bottles and pots and pans and a water filter. You get the idea. Trade plastic kitchenware for glass, wood, and steel. And limit alcohol and try one of our mocktails. That's right. And expand your detox protection from soy. Make the bacony tofu or the soy curl bites. Yep, you might surprise yourself. And be supplement savvy. Get your levels of vitamin D, B12 checked, and decide the best ways to supplement. I just want to congratulate you because you have now completed all 4 sessions of Fight Cancer with Your Fork, and we've uncovered a lot of things. I was talking to someone who said, Zonya, I was talking to my oncologist, my doctor. I said, how did I get cancer? How can I not get cancer again? What can I be doing? And the doctor just said, early detection. Get your screenings on time. And while that's excellent, solid advice, is that all? Is there more that doctor could and should share? Now that you've completed this course, can you answer that question? What is the best odds diet for fighting cancer? You can answer that question, can't you? Here's the answer. In addition to getting your regular screenings, fight cancer with your fork, our final checklist. Here we go. Turn water, remember this, and sugary drinks into cancer-fighting teas. Remember that? Get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, focusing on your G-bombs. What if that doctor said, include a clove of garlic daily? Make a super immune boosting dressing and chimichurri. Incorporate juicing and or smoothies for a constant flow of great fiber antioxidants. And replace processed meats with other great choices to avoid nitrates. Sub meat, sub beans, and soy for meat to prevent triggering IGF-1 and TMAO production. Read the ingredients and eat real to avoid cancer-causing ingredients. Buy organic to avoid pesticide and herbicide exposure. Use a baking soda or vinegar and water solution to thoroughly clean your produce. You're doing that, right? Keep added sugar to 6 to 9 teaspoons per day or less with our Sweet Smart recipes. Avoid microplastics, PFAs, and bisphenol A's in your water and kitchenware. Limit alcohol with mocktails. Supplement with vitamin D and B12. And exercise. 150 to 300 minutes per week, twice weekly sessions of resistance and flexibility. That is how you have your best odds diet and do everything that you can to fight or prevent cancer for you and your family. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Please revisit all your videos as many times as you need. Thank you, everybody.